Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from the beautiful country of Poland is Gosia Smoleńska. Hey, Gosia, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So Gosia, has worked in IT since 2013, beginning in a small startup as a manual tester. She has explored many roles in QA, project management, and of course, Scrum Mastery. Her passion lies in sharing Agile knowledge and helping startups build Agile cultures. She's experienced in Scrum, Kanban, Nexus, Lean, and also a certified professional Kanban trainer. So, Gosia, that was a short intro. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
Sure. So it's a long story because as you read, I started in a small startup. However, from my university, I am a land measurer, so surveyor, and I was studying mining and geology, and I actually worked in the field, in the coal mines. And there was a time in the university I had to do some internship outside of the mine. So I did this internship in the small startup with 7 people, 7 other students. I was the only one not programmer. So I stayed there 3 years and I had the opportunity to check all the roles I had. So to QA automation, to do the Python work as a developer, to be a PM, to be a business analyst. And finally, I started doing more and more PM work. And then I was like, I don't know if it's something for me, but this is going into the right direction. So right after that, I found a job as a Scrum Master. This was my first Scrum Master position. I was the first Scrum Master in the company, so it was for both of us first person in this role. And this is how it started. This is how I became a Scrum Master. I just started with the company who learned from me, and I learned a lot in this company. I was there for more than 3 years. There were many opportunities to learn. And this was really great starting for me.
And it's quite interesting how many of us in this field have come from other areas of industry and business. And I think you're the first mining student that I interview here on the podcast. But tell us, Gosia, of course, when we're starting out, there are things that go well, but there are also challenges. And today's Fail Monday here on the podcast. So we want to explore one of those challenging, difficult stories that you went through. So tell us that story. Like, we'll go into the details and the takeaways later, but walk us through that story first.
Mm-hmm. So I was in the team who worked in different locations. This was way before pandemic. This was when remote work was not fancy and remote work was not really up to date. And the team was, I think it was like 5 or 7 people. And they hated each other. We couldn't go through any retrospective. We even had situations that we were sitting in the retrospective and it was quiet. Whole retrospective was quiet. Then you open the Slack and you see all the fights in the conversations. You see the comments in the code reviews, like they are not nice. And then people doesn't want to speak. So I was figuring out what to do. We cannot bring it up on retrospective because no one speaks. We cannot bring it up in the code reviews because they will say, oh, it's just a comment. It's nothing bad. So we got money from the company and we actually went to the different location, to the different country to visit part of our team. And we are there. We are coming to the office. And we are like, hey guys, it's lunchtime. Maybe we can go for lunch because we had a long travel here. It will be really nice to eat something. No one answered. No one went with us for lunch. So we stayed up going alone with the office manager. He was just, I will go with you. But it was our first day there, and it was like didn't felt right. We were not really happy about that. And
You
then we came
definitely
back
did not feel welcome for sure.
Oh yes, we didn't. Yeah. And the funny situation was that the office manager took us to the lunch to a nearby restaurant. We started eating, and then the whole office, so our team, because the office was only our team. So all of them just joined and they sat next to us, but not really on the same table. They were eating next to us, but they didn't spoke with us. So
Ouch.
it was not
That was very
comfortable.
cold.
It was, and it was awkward. It was also awkward. We had no idea what to do. So we went back. We started some workshops because we've planned workshops, and it didn't went well. So it didn't went according to the goal. We didn't achieve any of the planned steps because the plan was to have some roadmap of okay, what are we doing? Where are we going? What is the plan for this team? What is the strategy? We actually didn't hit any of the goal. And then in the afternoon, the boss of the company said, okay, so let's go for beers. I'm taking you for beers because he also felt this awkwardness of the situation and he wanted to do something. And finally, after a few drinks, they open up. And they said that they were not sure what to expect. They were not sure who will come because of the nickname of one of the person in our team. So everyone in Poland knew this person by this nickname. And then it turns out that in the native language of our team members, the nickname had really bad connotations. And they were expecting some psycho joining their
Ouch.
office.
So they had created this whole image of that
Yeah.
person being some kind of evil psycho just
Yes.
from the nickname.
Yes.
And they had not like tried to ask like what does that mean in your language, or they did not try to clarify or even communicate, hey, that nickname is not so good in our language, could we just use another name? So they were just kind of creating this, I guess we could call it, image of a dragon coming to eat them.
Exactly. And this is how it felt. Yeah, this is how it felt. And it was the first reaction for us was to laugh because we had no idea what to do. But then the day after, we were able to go to some consensus. So the day after, we actually did the retrospective and we were like, hey, you said that. Maybe we should speak about that. Maybe we should speak about what is going on. This discussion didn't fix all the problems. This discussion didn't fix the team itself. And after all, after 6 months, the company decided to split the team for different, to mix them with different people. However, we did try and we did end up with having some kind of understanding of what is going on, why the situation is like this. And actually, it was a lot of cultural differences among us. And we had no idea because it was all Baltic countries. So we thought all Baltic countries are really similar, and they are not.
Yeah. So one of the cool things about this sad story in the end is that it highlights in a very graphical way how people create stories about each other without any or almost any information, in this case, just a nickname, right? And what I was thinking about is that for us as Scrum Masters, we need to be especially sensitive to this type of expectations and create the space for team members to talk to each other, to introduce themselves to each other in a let's call it at least comfortable way, even if it might not always feel safe, because of course the poor person who had the difficult nickname, they wouldn't know about it because they didn't know what that nickname meant in the other language.
Yeah, that is true. And also as a Scrum Masters, we need to remember that it's not only the framework that we should go through. This framework is just a guidance and I think and information how to do things, or what to do. But actually the whole part of us being in the team is people part. And no one teach you that.
Yeah. I'm reminded of a book that just recently came out, Shift from Product to People. And there's a lot of personal anecdotes about relationships and how those develop in that book as well. It's a fiction book about agile transformation. So check it out if you're interested. The link will be in the show notes. But one of the things that is really important, which you just said, is that we need to recognize that no matter what process we're using, it's the people who make it succeed in the end.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not like people as individuals, it's people as a group. It's people as a dynamic, as a one team. Yeah, it's easy to say team, but actually to build a team, you need to have a lot of skills and willingness.
Yeah, to build a team, you have to have a lot of skills. Indeed. Very well said, Gosia. Thank you for sharing that story.
Thank you.
Monday is about what we learn from our obstacles and our failures. But tomorrow is Team Tuesday here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. We explore teams and their journeys, the habits they develop that threaten their performance, how each of our guests helped their teams evolve, and the one key lesson they learned from that experience. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.